Hey guys, welcome back. And guess what? It's time for some tractor therapy. It's been a while. It's been busy. We've had a lot of things going on at Skolton's Equipment. I wish I recorded more, but I didn't. But today we're going to break that habit. We're going to get back into the swing of things. Most importantly, tractor therapy. You might say, where's the tractor? Well, it's behind me. It's the JCB 8330 Icon tractor. It's new. It sounds like the old model. The previous model was a JCB 8330. This one is an 8330, but it's an Icon. I'm gonna hold it in my hand. I'm not that good. I just took it for a spin. Ended up in this field here, and I thought it was a great time to show you around this tractor. It looks the same, but inside the cab is completely different on this tractor. One of the most important things in there, it's ISOBUS compatible, so it's got an updated screen, and it's got a new way to control the transmission. But if you're familiar with fast tracks of old, don't be worried. You still have the old way to control it. You can switch back and forth. If you're a Fint guy, never have run the JCB, now you can jump in this and get it to a mode where you're used to. It will run like a Fint. If you have some John Deere in you, this tractor has a setting that is very similar to the way the John Deere IVT works. So technically it's like 3 different control options in one. I could talk about this for a while, but the best way to see what I'm talking about is let me show you. Let's go. So you may ask, like, how am I going to tell if this is an Icon or not? One of the things from the outside looking from like 20 feet away, the easiest way to tell is yellow grab handles. It might sound silly, but that is one of the easiest way to tell if it's an Icon. So if you don't have an Icon JCB 8330 and you want to look like you have one from outside, just paint the grab handles. I'm going to start it up here. Let you see it fire up. Preparing the machine. So not only does it have a new screen right here, it also has a new screen right here. This screen's fully touch capable. This screen is not. So let's start at the joystick. The joystick is fully programmable, similar to the old joystick. You have the buttons you could program 1, 2, 3, 4. You still have those here. They're just not. They just don't look the same, but they're the same functionality. You can program 1 and 3 or 1 and 2 to be a remote, front lift on a 3-point, PTO turn on, a variety of things you can program. And then you see these orange buttons up here. So the orange buttons indicate transmission controls. As you see down here, there's orange. Here, there's orange. Here, there's orange. Park brake lever's orange. They color coordinate it to control transmission. So you know every button that's orange has something to do with the transmission. For instance, neutral. You got this one. This is cruise 1, cruise 2, max speed set. Now I'll explain that. Cruise control is pretty self-explanatory, but max speed set, if I press that, you can't go over a certain speed preset with that button. So now we went over the buttons that this JCB has. You might ask, what about this is like a Fint, what's like a John Deere, and what is like a old school JCB? You might, that's a good question. This thing's programmable. So as you see it beyond here in the screen, you can choose between 2 control patterns. You got JCB Classic, which all the normal JCB fast track guys of the past are used to. You got what they call JCB Pro, a little bit different than the traditional fast track controls. It is more of like what I would consider Fint controls, where you got the forward reverse of the stick goes fast. Forward goes faster, backwards goes slower. Push the stick to the left, you go forward or reverse, switch directions, and you can set cruise on the right. You might say that's identical to a Fint, because it is. Those you might be asking, what makes this control system like a John Deere? Well, it's this scroll wheel right here. You can really dial in your speed with this scroll wheel, similar to a scroll wheel on a John Deere. Now, I will show you that, but right now we are in JCB Pro, which is like the new control system. If you want to go to JCB Classic, you just push the screen and it selects, and it changes how it works. Since most of you that are watching this video probably know how the JCB control works. We're going to show you how the Finn one, or the JCB Pro control works. You can also change responsiveness, low range settings, high range settings. So we got speed limit of 43 miles an hour, cruise at 43. The low range settings, there's two settings, low and high. Cruise is not set right now, but if we wanted to, we just touch it, and we want to set the cruise to 5 miles an hour. Say we want to set a speed limit, a field speed limit, I would call this 12. Cruise 2, say we'll do that one at 8. So now these three buttons are set. You can also set them when you're going along. You could hold the button and it will set. But this is how you do it in the screen, which I think is pretty nice. Responsiveness, you can play with that as you go. We are going to go back out of this screen right here. And then you also can even custom program all these other buttons. You got this joystick over here, which would be good for if you had a loader. Not a lot of these have loaders. It runs any hydraulic functions you want. It's totally programmable. Even these are programmable. They can even change colors. Right now I have them set. It's hard to see with the sunlight. I'm going to block it. But we got, oh, there we go. We got red, white, and blue and yellow. Those colors change. I'm going to change this one to green, but I'm going to show the camera on the spool lever, and you'll be able to see what I change it to. Blink, boom, it's green. I can change it to back to red. Blink for a second, you're back to red. It's really cool. I honestly don't see a lot of tractors that can do that. That's a very new technology. It really makes it possible that there's light in these switches that you can designate the colors. If you can't see that, you can see it up here on the screen. You can also change any of these buttons that lays out on the map on this joystick to different things. Like, for instance, it doesn't have to just be hydraulics. If I want to change that one, I'll show you. Whoops. You can change it to a rear PTO. I want to go back though. I messed up. Let's change that one. You could change to diff lock, hydraulics, engine settings, transmissions. That button can be changed to almost anything. Rear hitch. Let's see what the diff lock looks. Oh, you could turn the diff lock on with that button if you wanted to. It just makes anything programmable. Wow, we've been idling for 15 minutes. That's nice. And then as for also, you can change the height, any of those buttons there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's on the main joystick. But it's a nice map on this screen, shows you what exactly you're changing. I could talk about this for a long time, but the best way to show you is to just show you how it works. Let's do it. One thing that's new on this is how the parking brake, it's not an old air system like it used to be. Just press a button and you don't hear the air. It's a electric park brake now. No longer air on the Icon series. I'm going to do this one-handed here. But you hold there's a trigger button on the back of the joystick, like the current Fast Tracks and like the Fence as well. Hold the button, push forward. We're going to be in forward. We are in high gear. I'm going to change that right here to the high-low button, and it'll show right there that we are in low, and we're still in forward. I'm going to let off the clutch. We're not going to go anywhere. We are in drive stick mode. If I change it to auto mode by pushing that button, it says automatic transmission activated. I think that will go away in a second, and you'll see a pedal. So that means we are in pedal mode. For this, we're going to go back to manual mode, manual transmission mode, and I'm just going to push this lever forward and we'll start going forward. We're traveling at a rapid pace of 1.5 mile an hour. But for my demonstration purposes, this is what I wanted to show. So one of the coolest things about this transmission, you can activate a cruise selection. Like we selected 5 miles an hour is number 1. You don't have to be moving. A lot of different manufacturers, you have to be moving to set that cruise. And with the JCB, you do not. So it's highlighted here. That means it's on, but it's not active. All I have to do, I'm at a standstill. I just press that button, and we're going to go 5 miles an hour, and it's going to do it at a really nice gradual pace, and you can change the aggressiveness of that. And what I want to do here is now we're at 5 miles an hour. It's at 4.9 on the main dash, but it's going to shoot for 5. And we hit 5. And the cool thing about that is when you push the brake, it takes the cruise off, right? I don't know. There's a few different applications where you stop a lot. Bailing is one of them, round bailing. And then when you're off, you just press that button again, and it's going to take you right back to where you were. What the cruise was set at 5. And it's a really slick setting. Now, say you want to change that cruise. Sorry, there's a bridge here. I just don't want to go in the ditch. Say you want to change the cruise setting. All you do, this is where that John Deere thing comes in handy, the scroll wheel. You just tap it up, and it will tell you, it'll pop up on the screen what you're changing it to. The green one is what we're changing it to, so that's 5. I'm just clicking it up, nice and slow. You could hold it and do bigger jumps if you wanted, but we're at 5.9 miles an hour. I gotta pay attention slightly here because we're gonna get on the road. It's not a busy road. So we're at 5.7 miles an hour. And that's where that scroll wheel comes into play, where you can really dial it in to where you want to be on speed-wise. And this is the field setting. And you can really feather it. And then say you want to jump. So say there's certain parts of the field you can go 5, certain parts of the field you can go 8. That's our other setting. So let's just press 8, and it will jump right to 8. Granted, I have the tractor on idle, so it's going to idle up like that to get to speed. But if you're really in a field and have the RPMs up higher, it's not going to do that. It's not going to jump the RPMs like that because the RPMs are already going to be high. But again, I can change that cruise on I'm trying not to go off the road here. One-handed here. Just with this scroll wheel. And say that, if you want to jump up higher, you just hold the scroll wheel, and it has like a click. If you felt that, it clicks. So then you jump I believe it's a whole speed range. So if you click it, you can jump up like one whole speed range. Click it again, you jump up another, like I would say a mile an hour, almost. But it's very nice. And if you want to say jump back down to, we're going through our slugs here in the field, we got to slow down. You jump it back down to 5. Very cool, very intuitive cruise setup on this tractor. If you were paying attention, you might have noticed I didn't touch the middle button. The middle button is, from what I can tell, mainly to do with the foot pedal. So if you didn't want to, if you want to set a max speed, so to speak, you push this button, and the tractor's going to stop because it's not a cruise setting. This is just a max speed setting. And when I push that button, it automatically changes it to foot pedal. So now I'll rev my RPMs up. This is the RPM lever, by the way. Real nice RPM lever. We're going to rev our RPMs up to simulate some sort of speed of a field, and we got our max speed set at 12. So I'm going to press the foot pedal down there, and no matter how long I hold the foot pedal on, it won't go past 12 miles an hour. And some guys like to drive like this. I'm not one of them. I like to have my foot off the pedal, and I like to drive and let the tractor hold its speed on its own without the weight of my foot. But if you did want to set a max speed for the foot pedal in the field, you got a guy that's foot happy, that's how you do it. When you let off the foot, she stays. I mean, she goes back to 0. And say you want to, you want to go back to cruise control, you just press this button, it switches to toggle mode. So there's 3 modes. There's toggle mode, foot pedal mode, and what I would call manual mode. But once you're in cruise, you become into toggle mode, and you can just fine-tune the speeds just like that. It's a real nice setting. I can't wait to actually get to try this in the field, not just acting like I'm farming on a road. But the cool thing also, we're on a road and there's no one behind us. I just checked. If you want to reverse directions, for all you Fendt people out there, you know that it's pushing the stick this way. So you hold the button on the back and you push the stick this way. It will hold the cruise. So right now we're going to keep cruise. The cruise is on. We just changed directions. And the cruise stays where we had it set. And then if you want to go back to forward, you just slap the stick to that way. It's the shuttle. It's the way Fendt controls their transmissions. So a lot of guys like that. So JCB wasn't going to make people just use their way all the time. And if you want to, you can use that way. If you like the way the JCB does it, you can go back to JCB Classic. But for the sake of showing you what's new on this transmission control, that's new. For Fendt people, it is definitely old news. But I thought it was really cool that the cruise stayed engaged on the reverse. Let's go a little faster. And you might say, well, could I use this outside the field? I think you can. So let's just slow this thing down. And we'll show you the cruise settings. I don't know what behind me yet. I am in the middle of the road. We're gonna go to. Oh, I have to depress the clutch. I try to change the high-low without depressing the clutch. You have to depress the clutch. So we have our cruise control settings right there. So if I tap those, I believe. There we go. I've found with driving fast tracks before in town, you're not going to cruise through at 43 mile an hour. You are going to, let's say you want a 25 mile an hour setting. So right now you can do this for 25 and 43. And the cool thing, if you're at a stoplight, we're going to go out of this a second. If you're at a stoplight, like pretend we are right now, you could just press this and she's going to go 25 mile an hour. At a really comfortable, like not super aggressive, very gradual, good on the fuel. It's going to go 25 and it's going to stick there because that's what we have it set at. And just like in field mode, or it's a little harder to do with one hand now, but just like in field mode, you can dial the speeds back with the toggle, just like I am. And you can dial them up. And you don't have to be in a slower setting. We could have pressed cruise 2 and went to 43. From a standstill, we didn't have to press the gas at all, or the foot pedal. And that is a very cool setting. One that I've used a few times already, because it's the road mode settings. Just a very intuitive screen control system. JCB came out with, we're going to stop here because it is a stop sign. Brakes are a little wet. Got that new tractor brake sound. So aside from the transmission settings, there's some other cool stuff on this armrest that wasn't here before. You got the audio controls because this is a standard JCB stereo system. No longer do we have to dealer install the radios anymore. They come standard and they pair well with the armrest. And also, there is no AC climate control system up there because it's all in the screen, which is really nice. So once you press one of these buttons, it tells you where you're at on the screen. Much needed. The old system was pretty antiquated. It was separate from there was nothing on the screen with the climate control. That's just the way of the future. You can press auto and it will tell you the auto intensity, if you want it to cool down quick, or you want a low fan noise, that's how you do that. And you can also just control the fan outright if you don't want to be on auto. Just X out of there if you want. Same with the volume controls. If you dial up your volume, it will tell you where you're at. Skip tracks. You can also take phone calls, Bluetooth capable, like everything is now, it seems like. And you can also, if you want to go further into the details of the audio system, you could click the audio button and you can go FN mode, XM. You can dial in some presets right here. You don't have to look up. It never has been safe or easy to change radio stations on a tractor, so making it on the main screen is definitely needed. You can go also to the climate menu if you want to really dial in your settings on the climate. And then you can go to your phone menu and look at recent calls if it's hooked up. It's not. I don't have my phone hooked up to it right now. And then you go back to home. Very, very simple. These are GPS compatible screens, but the function is not unlocked on this one. I've been told there's going to be more stuff coming out that works with this screen. I've been told all the majors will most likely plug into this screen once it's unlocked. We're in the early stages of it. And then the button I was telling you about in the beginning of this video, one of the biggest things for the reason they call it the icon, the I in the icon, is ISO bus. This screen is ISO bus compatible. So we don't have anything hooked to it, of course, so it's going to load Isobus and it's probably going to be blank. But this is where your baler screens, your mower screens, your, I don't know what other screens you could have, rake screens, any screen. Anything that's Isobus compatible will show up on the screen. It's a much needed feature on the Fast Track. Makes life a lot easier. You don't have to have the extra monitors if you don't need them. And on the bottom of the screen here, you can see this tractor turning. That's headlamp management. You can program all your sequences. I still think JCB is probably by far the easiest headlamp management program screen to use out of any tractor. We sell Kloss, Kubota, JCB. JCB is definitely the easiest one to program out of those three. I've tried to program John Deere's before. JCB is still easier than that. Definitely leaps and bounds easier than the Fendt screen to program the headlamp management. JCB has got it dialed in. You can also program cameras. If you have a camera hooked up to it, you can make it show up on the screen. There's your hydraulic screen. You can just tap and click all the settings. Very nice. And then if you want to go down to more of a dialed in menu, you can go to transmission settings, low range, response, and just settings into forward reverse differential, and control pattern. That's where you would change from JCB Pro to Classic. And it's just a push of a button. If you want to decrease your speed on the Classic, of course, you go like this, and it's already doing it because I selected it. Believe it or not, you would think that from the factory these things would come JCB Classic, but from the factory they're set up as JCB Pro. I think JCB took a lot of surveys and they realized that a lot of people really liked the Fendt control system and were used to it. Even JCB users knew how to use the Fendt controls. So JCB is giving the classic JCB operators an option, but also kind of saying, hey, JCB Pro is probably the way they're going to be coming from the factory, but you can go back to Classic if you need to, as long as it has a screen, which I think it will for quite a long time. I'm just going to start driving. There's a car coming behind me. And we can't let them pass us because it's a fast track. So, I don't know what I was saying. Don't you hate that when you forget what you were saying? This car got me all razzled. I remembered what I was saying. Anyways, this screen's not going anywhere, I don't think. It's a great screen. I don't know why it would go anywhere. But JCB in 2000, I believe it was 7, came out with the previous version that we had until last year. So 2007 to 22, take the 1. How many years is that? You got 3. That's 15 years of that technology. It was a good technology. As one of the JCB factory reps told me, that screen was by far maxed out a couple years ago on its capabilities. It couldn't do Isobus. It was an older touch screen technology. It was one of the first tractors to have a touch screen. They held onto that screen for quite a while. It was it did its purpose. They still work on tractors. We have tractors with over 10,000 hours with those screens still running. Yeah, you have to replace them every now and then, but not many people have 15-year-old computers that they still count on every day. It's a testament to JCB technology that their screen is still working, the old one. And why am I rambling about the screen? Well, because JCB says this screen is only being utilized like 5% of what it can do. So it's a good screen, it's good technology. So if you're worried that you won't be able to drive your JCB like you had in the past, I don't think that's not a worry in my book. You'll be able to control JCB Classic controls, or just go to JCB Pro, aka Fendt controls. And then also have a little touch for you John Deere lovers with a scroll wheel. Before I get in trouble for being on this road, we're going to go home. And question of the day, if a tractor can go 43 miles an hour and the speed limit is 40, do you have to have your flashers on if you're legal width? I don't actually know. I don't like to turn the flashers on though if I don't have to, because it just draws attention to yourself. But again, I am through a roundabout on a highway. I think attention is what we're going to get. So, do I really need flashers? That's the question. I'm sure some of you legal sneagles know the answer is you probably do, but I actually don't know that's the answer. I always thought flashers are for slow moving or wide vehicles or long vehicles. This tractor is within legal width, and we are going up to speed limit, and we're not long. So do we need flashers? I don't think we do. But I guess I should reiterate the fact that this is a fast track. It does go 42, 43 miles an hour down the road. And not just it goes 43 miles an hour. It does it supremely well. Better than any tractor on the market. It is the best roading tractor ever built. No, hands down. No tractor will ever beat this tractor for roading. I don't care who you are. These tractors are the best. These tractors most likely will drive better than 1 ton, 3/4 ton pickups down the road. I know it. It actually might even rival a half ton. Granted, it's bigger than a half ton, so there's a little bit of cumbersomeness to the size, but these are the nicest driving tractors. I can drive with one hand and record. I know it's probably illegal, but if I have my flashers on, is it illegal? I don't know. It's another thing about the flashers. I don't know if we need them. But I'm going to put my flashers on just because I'm recording and I'm one-hand operating. For that sake, we're going to ride with flashers. But that's the only reason. I don't think we need them for any other reason. But supremely comfortable tractor. If I can only imagine going 40 some miles an hour in a John Deere, you're going to have white knuckles, sweaty hands, and you're going to have to say a prayer before you leave. We all know that. JCB hasn't changed the ride quality. It still rides great. They just updated the screen and the controls. And it's a much welcome improvement, and I'm excited about it. Come take this for a drive, you can. It is at our dealership. It is for sale. It is pictured and priced online at SkoltensEquipment.com, where everything's pictured and priced. We're the only ones that do so, I think. And we'd let you take this for a drive if you want. Anyways, until next time, I'm going to try to turn into this parking lot. Oh, see, there's a cop. I don't see no cop lights. Because I don't have my flashers on. So, crossing a double yellow line here too. That's probably not the best. Anyways, just waiting for traffic. I should probably blink at least. Anyways, sorry for that. Well, like I was saying, if you would like to subscribe to our channel, we'd really appreciate it. We're going to come out with more videos more often. We took a little break. We're a little busy. Anyways, we got more stuff coming in. We got more stuff already here. Some of these Claas Axions. We do have an old Fint here, some Kubotas, and what is on that truck? Telehandler. Hold on. This truck has caught my eye. Oh my goodness. I've been waiting for that thing. Not the Kubota. The JCB 131X. That might be the next video. See you next time. Thanks.